Morning folks, me again. You probably don't believe this, but it's actually about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, January 3rd. It's dark. It's the kind of morning that if you're looking for an excuse not to go outside, all you have to do is look out the window and you found it. We are expecting some bad weather in a couple hours. Not a lot, but it's going to be pretty messy. And I think that's probably what all these clouds are going to bring us eventually. But this morning, on this video, I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. Why people make them, why some people are not successful, and then at the end I'm going to talk a little bit about a few that I've made myself for the new year. So stick around. January 1st is probably the big bang of start dates. Which is why a lot of people, if they do make resolutions, they make resolutions to start on January 1st. Or maybe January 2nd, depending on what they're doing on January 1st. January 1st is like a Monday. If you're at work and you get a big project on Thursday or Friday, the tendency is to put it off until Monday. That means that you don't have to start things right away. And you have the weekend not to think about it. Or depending on what the project is, you have the weekend to think about how you're going to do it. And Monday is a natural start date. January 1st is like that. It's a big red thing on the calendar, and it's a natural starting time for all kinds of things. Most grandiose New Year's resolutions, like losing weight or making more money or doing certain whatever it is that you decide that you're going to do, January 1st is a natural date to start that. I apologize for the wind noise. I don't know if you can even hear the wind, but when I'm bundled up like this, when it's cold, I don't really have a place to put a microphone. So I'm depending on the microphone on the Sony Action Cam, which usually does a good job, but it doesn't handle wind very well at all. So if you're hearing wind, I apologize in advance. The other reason people start resolutions on January 1st is because it seems like that's when they should start them. Everything on TV that sells like weight loss plans, products, gizmos you can put in your living room, things like that, that's all geared towards the idea that people are going to resolve to get fit, lose weight, or something beginning in the new year. Another reason I can think that people start resolutions on January 1st is because it helps them think that they've actually done something in achieving that resolution or whatever their goal is by setting a date for when they're going to start. We've all seen those commercials on TV where they sell Peloton bikes, Bowflex machines, different kinds of exercise equipment that you can use in your home. And a lot of times I would guess, I don't know this for a fact, I've not researched it, but I'm guessing that this is the time of the year when a lot of that equipment is sold. Because people buy a Peloton bike or some kind of exercise equipment thinking that they're going to get fit or lose weight, like I said earlier, and buying the equipment to do it is the first step in making that goal happen. So when they buy the bike or purchase the diet plan or sign up for Weight Watchers, all of that begins to fall into place and they feel good. They've taken step one in carrying out or achieving their goal. So those three reasons. It's an obvious date on the calendar. It makes them feel like they've actually done something to achieve the resolution. And I forget what the third one was. But you can rewind and look it up. This weather has gotten worse quick. In fact, I think my normal 10 km walk is going to be cut down to probably about 4 or 5 kms today. Okay, so let's move on. Why do New Year's resolutions fail? And I think the number one reason is that when people make them, they don't really put any thought into how they're going to achieve them. If one of your resolutions is to get fit, you might think that you have to do a lot of different things in order to do that. Like you have to buy a big piece of exercise equipment that's going to take up a lot of space in your house. Or you have to buy a gym membership. Or something. But most people don't think about this until the day all of this is actually supposed to start. And this doesn't just apply to fitness or exercise. This applies to all kinds of resolutions. If your resolution for 2021 is to make more money, there should be a way for you to do that. It's not just something that you're hoping happens. If it's actually a resolution, then you should have a plan as to how you're going to carry that out. So I think the main reason people don't succeed at some of their New Year's resolutions is because they don't actually think about what the goal of the resolution is, first of all, and second of all, the various steps that they're going to have to take in order to carry them out. If somebody were to ask me about how to achieve one of their New Year's resolutions, I would encourage them not to look at a calendar. Because the date you start doing things that are going to improve yourself or things that you want to do more of in the coming years, the actual day you start doesn't really matter. Or another way to look at it, the actual day you start is not the physical day you start doing things, but rather when you come up with the idea and start making your plan. That's when it actually starts. So if you're going on a diet, the first day of your diet is actually when you think of doing it and then figuring out how you're going to do it. Not when you actually start doing it. So here's what I would suggest. One, if you have a goal or a resolution, ask yourself what the outcome of that resolution will look like if you achieve it. Two, plan how you're going to do it. If you're on a diet, you have to have a diet to follow. If you're going to get fit, you have to have some kind of program to follow. If you're going to read more books, then you have to have a membership to your local library, a lot of books, or both. And then three, then without looking at the calendar, just do it. Nike was right when they came up with that phrase, just do it. They're right. A lot of times when you plan something, once you're ready to go, go. That's my advice. Don't worry about the calendar. Video where I talk more about fitness goals especially, that is you can look at by clicking the link up there. I made it last summer, I think it was. Anyway, I'm much warmer during that video than I am during this one. Normally I would head in the direction where you see that truck up ahead. It's exactly 2 kilometers from where I'm standing to Simpson. And then once I get to Simpson, I just take a right across the bridge and then walk back on Route 106, I think it is. You can look that up. And then back into Carbondale. So that's about 4 or 5 kilometers from where I am now. But the weather is bad. Cars can't see me. The wind is picking up and we're supposed to be getting sleet in a little while. So I'm just gonna turn around, or not turn around, but just adjust course a bit so that I am now heading back to the house. We're gonna cut this walk a little bit short. Like I said earlier, this is the kind of day that if you're looking for a reason not to go outside, well, look out the window and you'll have a reason right there. What are my resolutions, you might ask? Well, I've made two of them. One is I'm going to try to stop saying the word "ah" so much. I know if you watch these videos, if you'll watch some of my early videos, you'll notice that the word "ah" or space holder "ah" appears in a lot of them. Lately I've taken to editing them out, so you don't hear it as much, but you see little jumps in the video. But I realize that when I'm talking, using a placeholder like "ah" or an attention holder like that just means that whatever I'm saying is not a fully formed thought, that I'm still thinking of what I should be saying while I'm saying it. So there we go again. My first resolution is to stop doing that and try to have a better thinking process before I start talking. The other resolution I made is to read more John le Carré novels. I know he died in 2020, last year, and I've read probably about a dozen of his novels, but I haven't read them all. I really enjoy his writing, so I want to try to read whatever I've missed so far. My favorites are the one I started with, which was book one of the Carla trilogy, the Tinker Tailor book. That was the first one I read, and I quickly read the other two in the trilogy, and then from there I just sort of picked up random books whenever I could. My favorite, I think, is The Russia House, and if anybody's involved with the publishing industry, maybe you can explain to me why The Russia House is not available as an ebook. I've been looking for it for years. I cannot find it. So if you have anything to do with that, please make The Russia House available as an ebook, or for the Kindle if there's a difference. Anyway, that's my second of two resolutions that I'm going to try and follow for 2020. Before I go today, before I wrap it up, I was thinking of making a video about restaurants in Carbondale, and then I realized that some of these restaurants that I have known since I was a kid have been around for a long time. And I started doing a little bit of research. I'm trying to find out what the oldest restaurant in Carbondale is. I have an idea, which I'm going to announce maybe in the next video, but if you have an idea of what the oldest restaurant in Carbondale is, please leave a note in the comments. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.